Women's land rights are critical to democracy, peace, justice, long-term development, and overall security. There is growing evidence that women's meaningful participation in peace processes increases the likelihood that peace agreements will be sustained. In terms of their rights and access to land, women, on the other hand, continue to be at the center of human rights violations around the world, and their contribution to peace building continues to be underutilized and under-resourced in Uganda. It's against this background that SHED, an indigenous women's rights non-governmental organization whose mission is to promote peaceful societies through human rights, access to justice, and development initiatives, received funding and technical support from Women's Peace and Humanitarian Fund, hosted by UN Women, to implement a 2-year project aimed at enhancing women's participation in prevention and management of land conflicts for peace in Uganda. Over the last 2 years, SHED has successfully strengthened the position of women in enhancing conflict prevention and peaceful coexistence among citizens in the targeted districts of Kayunga, Masaka, Kampala, and Wakiso. With this project, SHED has trained and equipped 35 women's land rights monitors who are local community volunteers providing services in form of mediating land issues, sensitizing communities about land laws, conducting referrals, mobilizing for action, and elevating the profile of women in land matters, among other roles. As such, the Women's Land Rights Monitors have handled at least 2,114 cases in total, among which 146 cases were mediated and resolved, while 233 are referral cases sent to authorities for further handling. Overall, 563 of the cases handled were reported by men, while 1,551 cases were raised by women. One of the beneficiaries is Nachimbugwe Daisy, 84, who shares her experience with a land dispute involving her family and Mr. Robert Muwanga. Nachimbugwe, a teacher at the time, purchased her land in Chebando, Kampala district in 1970 but did not obtain a land title. 9 years later, a man named Robert Muwanga arrived without her knowledge and purchased this land, which he later sold half of it in 1979.
Najja wano mu mwaka gwa 1970 ne ngula ekibanja kino. Omwami gwe bayita Muwanga Robert najja n'agulawo nga simitegeera nakubitegeera, nalaba mpaanyi zisimbye eno zikutte n'eri. Ati we yagulawo teyambuulira. Mu biseera bye nga mugagga, mu mwaka gw'79 n'akisalako ekyali ekitundu, n'asalako haafu, ekinene n'akitwala n'akitunda. Saamenyega mwalimu n'emmwanyi bitooke biki byonna teyampaayo yadde ennusu bwe.
She asserts that Muwanga never paid her a single coin or informed her of anything until his children came and threatened to evict her, claiming it was their father's land.
Gwe-2021 abaana ne bantandikako nga bajja wano wasiwawo waffe kwanza ye wano wange okuviira ddala mu mwaka gw'7.
Nachimbugwe, feeling helpless, decided to write a letter to the village local council chairperson about the threats she was facing.
21 nempandikira chairman kwanza obwana abantu bantiisatiisa bagamba wano si wange.
When the chairman discovered that Nachimbugwe had purchased her land but had lost the letters of agreement and did not have a land title, he advised her to seek compensation from Muwanga and leave the land. However, the compensation was so small that they were unable to reach an agreement with Muwanga. As a result, the chairman referred Nachimbugwe to a women's land rights monitor, Harriet Nakaiza, working with Shed in Kampala district to assist her. Nachimbugwe was assisted by the Women's Land Rights Monitor through mediation in obtaining fair compensation from her land, which she used to obtain another land with a title.
Mukyadeize bwe yatutuukirira ng'ate akimanyi ddala nti ffe emirimu gyaffe services zaffe zaabuki za bwereere teziriiko kola ki kusasula. Ne tujja ne tutuula naye ku mmeeza emu ne tubatuuza bo enjuyi zombi ne tubawuliriza era ne tulabira ddala ensonga kuba ne tutuuka ne tubatuusa ku ntegeeragana obusente bwe baali baagala omuwa obutono ate ne zikola ki ne zeeyongerakokko ekintu ne kibeera settled. Ne batuuka ku nzikiriziganya ne bamusasula ssente ze enkeera w'olwo nga bamaze okukola ki okukkiriziganya era twebaza abashedi.
Nachimbugwe is still alive to testify about the tremendous assistance she received from the Women's Land Rights Monitor and the financial support from WPHF and UN Women.
Mukyala Kayizaali yanyamba okutuuka ku ki kuba n'okututuuka ku nzikiriza naye singa saagenda eyo n'aliviiriddemu awo.
Overall, there has been a greater awareness of the positive outcomes of women's participation in conflict prevention, as evidenced by increased demand for legal aid and clients seeking mediation from women's land rights monitors. Thanks to the Women's Peace and Humanitarian Fund and UN Women for making this possible through financial and technical support.